Hi everyone, welcome back to Sembatic. In today's video, we are going to be building something very fun but also very educational. A love calculator program using React.js. This project is great if you are learning React because we will be covering important aspects like handling state, user inputs and conditional rendering using React.js. By the end of this tutorial, you will not only have a working log calculator, but you also strengthen your React development skills that you can apply to real-world projects. So without wasting much of our time, let's jump onto the system and start writing the code. As you can see, I'm currently here in my React, in my log tutorial project. And as you can see currently, the project is currently empty. So let us now go into the terminal here and initialize the React project. So quickly, the command for starting a React project is actually npm create. I am actually using Vite for this project, so we'll do npm create Vite at latest. So we could get the latest version of Vite, and then the name of our project, as I said earlier, it will be love calculator. Let's call it love calculator. Okay, like this. So let's wait for that to start and create the project for us. So here is asking us which framework do we want to use. As I said earlier, we are using React for this project. So I will select React, and then it's asking us if we want to use TypeScript or plain JavaScript. We are using TypeScript. So now, as you can see, it has successfully created this folder for us here, the React project folder for us. Basically, we have the source folder where we have the assets, and in the root, in the source folder, we have our app.css, which is where we are going to be writing all our CSS files. Now currently it has the default CSS stylings that comes with a React project. And now, as you can see in the terminal here, is actually telling us that we should cd into the project, into the love calculator project, and then write these following commands. So right now, let us cd into the love calculator project like this. Then the next thing we have to do is to do npm install so that it will install all the node packages for us. So we'll just run npm install like this and wait for it. Now that's done, let us proceed by running the second command, which says npm run dev. This will actually run the full project for us so that we could visit it in port 5173 here as a request. So let's click, let's hold Control plus click on the link. Then it will open up in the Chrome so that we could actually see it. So let's open it up in Chrome here and wait for the project to load up. So good. So this is how the React project actually looks like. The Vite plus React project actually looks like by default. So now what we need to do now is to come into our terminal now. Let's separate these two ways like this so that we can be able to see both the window here and our project. Inside our source app.tsx, this is actually what we are seeing over there. We are seeing this over here. This is actually what we are seeing. This is actually what we are seeing. So now inside here now, what I want to do is I want to delete all of this. All of this, I will delete this up to this point. Here, I will delete it all off. And now, up here, I am not needing this and this, sorry, and this. All I need is use state from React. So first, what we need here, we need let's delete this, but keep that. So here now we will say const. These are the variables we actually need. Const, we are going to need the person's name, the lover's name. I'm also going to need a function that will set the lover's name for us. So let's go set name like this. Then we'll set this equal to use state. Then the initial value will be an empty string like this. Also, we will be needing the years that the relationship lasted. So we have years. Then we also need a set years function, a set year function. Let's call this years because it's going to be actually years. So the initial value is still going to be a string because we're actually going to return a string from this, which will display the person's name and the number of years, the percentage of love. So actually, with this done, let's come over here now and we also need another variable here called, we also need the result like this. So let's do this. Let's say result and then set result. Also have a set result function that we here. Okay, so now let's actually go down here and write the structure of the project. So we'll have a div. So inside this div, we'll have another div that will call it the container. Let's call this one. Give this one a class of container like this. So inside this div, we will have a h1, and this h1, it will have the text. Let's say love calculator. Let's write love calculator like this. Then we'll get the symbol for love by clicking the window key plus this semicolon. This will bring this up. Then you select this love sign here, and it should appear there. Good. So it's here now. That is it. So next, we will need an input. This is actually going to be very simple, so we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So we'll have an input here. This input will be a type of text, and we'll give it a placeholder. Let's actually do this like this. Give it a placeholder that will tell the user enter the name of your lover. That's it. So we'll give this a value. The value will be name, the name variable that we have up here. This one here, the value will be name. Then the next thing that we need actually in React, the way we get this is if you have an input field like this, it has an unchanged attribute, and this unchanged now is when the user start typing into this input field. So if you start typing here, then the value that we are getting will now set it using this set name function. So actually this size is going to look like we have unchanged here is equal to, we'll set it equal to a function, and in this arrow function we will call the set name variable and pass in, actually the function will have an event. So that event, in this set name function, the event will have a target inside, and the target, we have a value on the target in the event, we have a value that we can get hold of. Actually, now if we start writing into this field, the value will be stored inside this name variable like this. And you see, it can actually give us a chance to write. Initially, when I was here to set this function like this, now if you write into this field, you actually see that nothing will happen. You cannot change it. You cannot even delete it because this value is here is constant. And there is no way you can do to edit it except if you refresh the whole page, it will go away and you cannot be able to type into this field because the input field is lacking the unchanged attribute. So let's bring that back up, unchanged attribute back up here. And we still need one more input field like this, which will take the year, the years the relationship has lasted. So the input, this type will be a number. Let's set it to number, input number. Then here will be, let's tell the person enter years. That is the years of the relationship, the years that the relationship has lasted. So let's save that. And we need one more thing. Okay, good. We have to change this one to the year variable like this, and then here the set year variable will also bring it down here. Instead of set name, now is set years variable like this. You set years. Good. So next we need a button. So down here now, let's have a button. Let's have a button like this, which we have on click attribute. On click now, we'll call the, let's call this function, let's call it handle click. Actually, let's call it calculate love because we are actually calculating love. So let's call it calculate love like this. So we will still need to create this function up here, this calculate love function. So on click is calculate love. So now inside here now, let's write the text calculate. Let's call it calculate now. Calculate now like this. Okay, good. So now up here, let's quickly declare the function to calculate the love before we do any other thing now. So inside this function, inside here, let's call this function. Let's use an arrow function. Const calculate love is equal to an arrow function like this. So which like this. So inside this place now, very good, as you can see is keeping up. Inside this function now, what we'll actually do is we'll call this set love function, which we are getting from the use state, and then pass in a string here that saying the name that the user enters like this. Let's actually use curly braces. We'll say the name loves, we actually need to calculate the percent, loves you. We also need another variable here, percent, which we'll create it shortly. Loves you percent like this. Then let's end it out with a percentage sign like this. And we'll also put an emoji here, a love emoji. Let's look for the love with an arrow. Love, very good. This one, let's use this one. Good, like this, very good. Okay, now let's quickly calculate the percentage here. So let's do const percent, that is the percent of the load, is equal to, we'll actually use the random module to get a random number between the range from 1 to 100. Let's use math dot minimum like this, mean like this. So inside here we'll pass in 100, comma, then we'll now pass in math dot floor like this. Then inside here we'll pass in math again, math dot random. So we'll multiply this, we'll multiply the whole of this by 50 like this. So when we have done that, we also need to put the years that the user enters, so that let's get it uniformly. So we'll pass the years into an int like this using the pass int function. Then we'll pass in the years that the user have entered. The years that the user have entered. Then we'll multiply the whole of this by 5. So this, let's change this variable to years. Good. Oh, actually we have to add it, put a plus sign here, plus this, like this. So this is what we actually need to get the random number from 1 to 100 each time the user enters a name and then enters the years. We'll calculate it using this formula, then code the set name function here, set result function here, passing the result, passing the name, and tell the person that the name actually loves him the percentage that we calculate here, and we'll put the percentage sign and put the love symbol. So next, what we need to do next now is actually how to display the result. The result, we say we have gotten it here, but we have not we have not shown a place where we will display it. So down, let's actually do it up here. Let's display it down here. After this button now, after this button, we'll do a quick check on the result. So the result variable, we'll check if the result variable is actually not an empty string, because actually, as you can see, initially it's an empty string, but when we click the calculate love and pass in the set love, passing the name loves you percent inside the love, inside the set result variable, it actually becomes the result takes this form, takes this variable, takes this string that we pass in here. So here now, we will not want to display that result when it was initially an empty string. So we can actually do a quick check like this. Say result. Actually, we can say result. Result. Then we will display the result. We will display the result. S, then we will leave it as an empty string. But actually, since we are just using an empty string, which is still the same thing that we got initially, there is actually a better way we can do this. We can just say love, put double ampersand sign here like this, and then say as a result, put double ampersand sign here, and then pass in the result like this. So this will actually display the result for us. But no, having it nicely, let's style it in a div. Let's style it in a div like this. Let's style it in a div. Let's first of all get this off here. Put a div here. Also put div here like this. So down here you will put this curly braces and then pass in the variable love. So in order for us to get it that side and style it, we'll call this we'll give it a class name of result like this. So let's save that and quickly change this variable from year to years so it could match the variable we have up there. So good. Basically, this is the structure we need. Now what we need to do, as you can see here, is looking so tattered now. So we'll go into our CSS folder, into our CSS file, and start it up. The reason why you actually see it standing normally as if it is styled is actually because of the default styles that comes in our app. Let's open that up quickly. App.css. Now you can see these are the styles that are working. The reason why you see this H1 standing around there now is because of the styles that comes from here. Actually, it's not here. Let's check the index.css and see. Good. Actually, the styles are coming from here. So what we can do now is, in order for us not to have this distract us, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of all of this. Then come into our app.css file, because this is actually where we'll be writing all of our CSS. So inside here, let's also delete everything here. Inside our app.css, we have a class, a D with a class of container. We have another D without a class. Let's actually give this one a class of wrapper, class name. So let's save that. Come into our styles our app.css here. So first of all, what we need to do inside this app.css is to reset the whole CSS, the whole stylings here, so that we can remove the borders and the paddings that initially comes with the body of the document. So we can actually do that by doing padding. We'll set it equal to 0. We'll save the margin also equal to 0. Then we'll set the box sizing to border box. Box sizing like this. We use border box. So down here now, we need to target that our wrapper like this. So our wrapper now, what do we want to do? Which style are we going to give it here now? Quickly inside the wrapper, I want to give it a font family. First of all, I will give it a font family so that it will reflect what we're doing. I will give it, is it cursive? Yeah, I will use this cursive for the font family. I will also want to use a background. The background, actually, I'm going to use linear gradient. So I will use linear like this, linear gradient. So inside here now, the first thing that I want to do is, how do I want it to go? I want to start 135 degrees, 135 degrees like this. Then it should have the color hash so that it will sound love FF. This will be actually pink 9A 9E like this. This is the color that I want it to have. Then the next one will be from down, that is from down now, will be hash FAD 0C4 like this, 0C4. Yes, like this. That it should start like this and end like that, so that it will reflect what we're doing. Actually, let's give it a height, a minimum height, so that right now we're seeing only wrapping around this place. So the minimum height of this, let's give it a minimum height of 100 viewport height like this, so that it will cover everywhere. Good. Okay, next now we want to display it as a flex, so that we can send everything back to the, so that we can send everything to the middle. So display flex. So justify content, will justify it to the center. Then align content, align items, will also align it to the center, so that everything will go to the center. Very good, like this. Next now, what I will actually want to do is the next what did I call it? I call it container. This container now, I want to target it and style it in my, actually let's get this off, in my app.css. So dot container, and the container I want to give it a background of white. So the background will be white, actually as FFF, like this. Then I want to give it a padding around. Let's put padding, because actually now you can see everything is wrapping all over the place. So let's give it the padding like this, 1 rem. Let's see how that looks. That looks good. So now let's also give it a box shadow. We'll do 0 to start, then 8 pixels, that is 0 left, then 8 pixels down, then the blue will be 20 pixels, like this. Then actually I will give it the color of RGBA so that I will make it transparent. I actually need black, so this will also be 0, this will also be 0, this will be 0, 0, like this. Then here the alpha will be 0 point, let me say 0.5, 0.15, like this. We'll also give it a border radius. We'll actually give it 2 rem, or 2, let's give it 20 pixels. The maximum width of this should be 350 pixels. Let's give 400 pixels and see. 400 pixels, like this, and see. That is good. So now when we are styling this other one, it would look nice, obviously. So let's come down here now. Let's leave that, let's leave it like this for now. Let's target the input. The input should have a width of 100%. Each of the inputs should have a width of 100%, like this. Good. Then it should have a padding around, let's say padding of let's say how 8 pixels is going to be. Let's say 8 pixels. Then we will give it a margin of 10 pixels, that will be up and down, then 0 left and right. Good. Let's change the border to border, let's give it 2 pixels, 2 pixels. Let's give it solid. Then let's give it hash e6, e, yeah, this, I think this should be good because I want it to rhyme with the background, like pink. So let's also give it an outline. We'll set it to none so that when you click on it, it should not give you that ugly look. Let's style our buttons. This button now, actually let's shape this borders. Let's give it a border radius of let's say 10 pixels, and see how that is. That is nice. Let's leave it like this. So now let's style the button. Actually, let's target the button directly, then give it a margin top so that it will shift down a little bit. Or you know what, let's just give it a margin, general margin. We'll give it 1 rem up and down, then 0 left and right, like this. So good. Let's actually give it padding around. Let's give it padding, let's say 12 pixels up and down, then 20 pixels left and right. Let's see, 20 pixels left and right. Okay, that's nice. Let's also make it to come, give it a border radius of 25. Let's give it a border radius like this of 20 pixels. See how that looks. That is nice. That is very nice. Let's see how 25 pixels will look. That is still nice. So let's leave it at 25 pixels. So now let's remove the borders. See the border, the dark border makes it to look ugly. So let's remove that border quickly and then give it a color border none. Then background color, we'll set it to also be pink. We'll use this one that we use here, but we'll use 3946. Is you know what? Let's just select a specific shade of pink like this. Yeah, good. Then we'll give the color inside to be color. We'll use white. Is hash FFF like this. Let's set the font size to like 1 rem. Good. Actually, let's tie the h1. Let's tie the h1. I think we are here to style it. Okay, right up here, immediately after this container, let's do the styling for the h1. The h1, we will actually give it a font size of let's say font size. Let's give it 2.5 rem. 2.5 rem. Let's also give it a margin button of 1 rem. Yeah, let's increase it to 1.5 rem. Good. And then let's actually give it a text shadow. Text dash shadow. Text shadow like this. We'll give it 1 pixels. Let's say 1 pixels here. Then 1 pixels here again. That is for up and down, I mean left and down. Then the blue will be 2 pixels. 2 pixels. Then the color, we'll use this same color we use here. So let's bring this color down here. Let's put the color down here. So that will be the same color that we use. Let's actually give this a back. Let's give this H1 a color of let's use this same color we use on the down one here, on the button down here. Very good, like this. Okay, that is nice. So now let's actually test this out. Loves you have NA. So let's do like my name Agera. Let's enter the percent, 10 the years in relationship, 8 years. Actually, Agera loves me 83%. Okay, that is nice. So let's tie this. Let's also tie this result div quickly. I think the name we give it was, we give it a class. Yeah, class of result. The class was result. So let's come here and then actually the only thing we'll do to it, we'll give it a margin. Let's say we'll give it a little bit of margin top. Let's say 1.5 rem. 1.4 rem. That's good. So we'll also give it a font size. Let's increase the font size. Where are we? Font dash size. We'll give it 1.5 rem. Then we'll also give it a color. Color will be this same color we are using up here. Good. That is it. Let's actually make it bold, a little bit bold. So that will be font width. Font dash width. Yeah, font dash width. To make it bold like this. That's nice.
Right now, as you can see, even if you click this field without entering anything, it will still give you a result saying loves you NA, which is not professional. So what we can do is inside our app.txs, immediately before or when we are calculating this log here, we can do a quick check here and say, let's say if if not name, that is if the user did not enter anything in the name field and did not also enter anything in the years field, then we'll code this set result. We'll code the set result, but this time we will pass in a string that says all fields are required, something like this. All fields are required. In this way, the user should not be able to enter to see any result if there is nothing in the name field. But before passing this result, let's pass it in a S clause. That is, we say S then. That is if there is something in the if he actually types something in the names field and he types something in the years field, then we will calculate this result. With this now, if you just let's refresh this, click on calculate now, you see all fields are required. But if let's say I refresh it now and enter my name, enter my lover's name, let me check out my wife's name now, let me see goodness now. I enter the years we have stayed in a relationship. Let's say we are like, let me say this is the 8 years that we're in relationship, and click calculate now. It will actually calculate this is actually very poor. My wife loves me 59%, which is actually very poor. Okay guys, that's it. With this now, you can not be able to calculate without entering data into these various fields. So guys, that is it. Thank you so much.